What's going on, guys? Daily here, back with some more Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order news. We're 2 days away from being able to actually play the game for ourselves. However, early reviewers like IGN, PC Gamer, etc. have gone ahead and released their early reviews of the game. And we're going to be talking about the reception so far and what we can come to expect. This will be a spoiler-free video, so you don't have to worry about getting anything spoiled for you. Either way, if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe with notifications on, and comment down below your own thoughts and opinions of what you've seen so far. I will be playing the game upon release day. I did not get an early copy, but I have been diving deep into every single review that has been posted. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, I want to just sort of bring into context the distinction between Jedi Fallen Order reviews and what we've gotten from Jedi Survivor so far. Overall, Jedi Fallen Order was extremely well received. Overall on Steam, it's got a 9 out of 10. On Google, it's got a 94%. And of course, those are both going to be user reviews, something we're not going to have for Jedi Survivor just yet. But in terms of non-user reviews for Jedi Fallen Order, it was pretty much 9 to 10 out of 10 through and through. The gaming industry loved this game a whole awful lot and was just busy giving out 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s. The same cannot be said for Jedi Survivor. I don't know if this is the fact that it's a sequel and people are often a lot more harsh on sequels than they are on the original game, but we're seeing a lot more 8 out of 10s, places like PC Gamer or GameSpot, although IGN did again give it a 9 out of 10, just like they gave Jedi Fallen Order a 9 out of 10. So currently it seems like Jedi Survivor is trending a little bit lower than Jedi Fallen Order did upon its release. However, it's not that big of a deal. 1 point off is not a big deal, and I do think that people, when a sequel is released, will tend to harshly criticize it, even though the game could be the same or better than its predecessor. It's more about trying to recapture that nostalgia of the first game or improve on it and things like that. It's held to a higher standard, so I think we could have just as good of a game here, except lots of journalists fall into that trap, and also lots of journalists just like to be the ones who have something nasty to say. I do not put any stock into game journalist opinions, and I recommend you don't either. I'd rather wait until the user reviews come out, as well as, my own play experience. So from what I could gather from a lot of these magazines that are posting their reviews is that most of them were a little bit disappointed with the actual story itself. And again, I won't go into spoilers directly here, but a broad overview of the story seems to be it's not so much fighting the Empire, but rather just resisting the Empire. Lots of magazines and things like that are basically complaining that instead of getting A New Hope or Return of the Jedi style fighting back against the Empire, trying to take them down. Instead, it's just sort of, as PC Gamer wrote here, grappling with the futility of the rebellion and questioning what's left to fight for. And I think that this is a really weird complaint, to be completely honest. Again, I haven't played for myself, so only so much can be said. However, a story where you're actually fighting against the Empire in a way that it makes it feel like you're not accomplishing anything, and then I'm guessing towards the end of the story the moral is going to be like they are secretly accomplishing little things for the little people or something along those lines. It sounds like a great storyline. It sounds very much so like Andor, the TV series, and it sounds like really what people go down in a fascist government. It's the little victories that count, and it's the little fights against the man that make all the difference. And although it may feel futile, you keep fighting because it's what you believe in. This sounds like a sick story. This sounds like a fantastic way to start off a Star Wars story, especially when you're plopping this Star Wars story right after Order 66. Well, not right after, but a few years after Order 66, when there really isn't much hope in the universe. At this point in time, you're not looking at, oh, Luke is going to go and save the day. Instead, you're looking at how do we survive another day and how do we keep the Resistance alive. I think that makes for a so much more interesting story when you can't go and defeat the Empire in this game. You can't. It's surrounding other Star Wars properties where they do just that, but you cannot do that in this game because it is not A New Hope. It is not Return of the Jedi. You cannot be the main rebel leader in this. You have to be, you know, resistance and things like that. And I think that's honestly a great angle for this game to come from. And honestly, I think that this criticism just sounds like they don't enjoy that as much as being, you know, the big #1 guy fighting. But one thing that PC Gamer did seem to really enjoy was the combat in this. They did note that it's pretty much the same, but enhanced and even better, and they really like the droids in the game. Apparently the enemies in Jedi Survivor have been some of the best out there, and people are really raving about how good of the combat is against these new enemies. And that's pretty refreshing, especially coming from Jedi Fallen Order, where it felt you were fighting the exact same enemies over and over and over again. You'd be fighting the same spiders, you'd be fighting the exact same Imperial stormtroopers over and over again. So to have those same fighting enemies coming back, but also adding, you know, tons of new droids into the mix, tons of new animals into the mix as well, it sounds like it's going to be pretty cool and a very unique fighting experience on every single planet. Now, sort of shifting away from the combat, GameSpot really highlighted that there's also a lot of quiet moments in the game too, which I really appreciate, because in Jedi Fallen Order it felt like you were on the go. It was go, 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 next mission, next mission, next mission. But in this instance, there's a lot of just different things that you can do in different hub-like areas, such as there is a brand new bar that you can go and visit and get side quests from and things like that. You can also go to a cantina that fills with NPCs that you've saved while traveling, and you can customize perks and things like that too. And I think that just sort of comes with being in a more open world. It's not exactly open world, but it's getting closer to that. So I think that just comes with that territory where once you're actually let loose into this open world, you get to experience more things, whereas Fallen Order was much more linear, much more you have to go do this next mission. In this case, you can take your time, you can go visit the hub, you can go and talk to some NPCs, take on some side quests, take on some mini bosses, things like that. And it sounds like this game is going to have much more pacing towards the individual, which I think will end up being really good, because you can choose how you play this game way more than you could choose how you played Fallen Order. Now, a big moment from the GameSpot review that I want to read out loud here, especially for you that are going to be on console, because this seems to be mainly a console problem, is that, and I'll quote here, "Survivor's technical performance is a stumbling block that must be noted. Playing on Xbox Series X, I experienced random crashes on a number of occasions, all annoyingly during cutscenes before the game had a chance to autosave. On one unlucky and deeply frustrating occasion, the game crashed during the cutscene following an especially challenging multi-phase boss fight that had taken multiple attempts to finally beat. Because of that crash, my progress was lost and I had to fight the boss half a dozen times again, earning a victory that felt so much more hollow than the first time I beat him. On PlayStation 5, a colleague reported some occasional stuttering, screen tearing, and crashing too, and the PC version also has a variety of technical issues relating to the in-game presentation, performance, and hardware optimization." I've been seeing a lot of people commenting like, hey, is this game going to be available on console, things like that. Yes, it is. And people also asking like, what's the specs on PC? And it seems like, you know, I don't know the actual specs on PC. You can just look at the Steam page if you want to do that. But it seems like you need to have a pretty good PC to run this. And it also looks like if you are going to be on console, you are going to be running into a multitude of problems throughout your gameplay experience, which really sucks. I mean, we're living in a world where it's 2023. Game file sizes for this are 130 gigabytes, and they can't even optimize it or flesh out crashing bugs and things like that before the game is released. But that's just AAA gaming for you nowadays. They're going to release patches that eventually will fix all of the bugs within a year, but on release, it's going to be a hot mess, it seems like, which is really frustrating. And we have to remember also that this is pre-release. They've still got 2 days to really iron out the last of these major bugs and things like that, so we can't judge it too hard. But at the same time, it does get to be pretty frustrating. When I spent $70 on this game, yes, games now that are AAA are $70 instead of $60, and it seems like we are going to have some seriously frustrating times with cutscenes, with crashes, and screen tearing and things like that. So, awesome. Love to see that. So it seems like the game is really going to be spot on. It's going to be a very solid game. It's going to make Star Wars fans very happy. You know, it's up to us to determine if the reviewers are being nitpicky because it is a sequel to a popular game, or if it really is worth that 8 out of 10 and it's a little bit of a step backwards from Fallen Order. But from everything I've read in the reviews, it sounds very interesting, very fun, and I'm really excited. I want to leave you guys with one little quote here from the IGN article that sounded really cool. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. I kept thinking, how could Respawn follow up on its outstanding Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? But then I spent so many nights playing the sequel, finding out how they got it right, and Cal Kestis grew strong, and I learned how to get along. Obviously, he's quoting a little bit there, song, but, you know, I like the point that he is admitting, like, I was afraid that this game is going to be worse than the predecessor. It's hard to follow up, but clearly they did end up getting it right, and that's what a lot of the reviewers are saying. So I'm very excited for the game. I can't wait to play it in 2 days. Check back on the channel for that. Either way, guys, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.